Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all having a lovely Monday so far. I am moving on with the washi tape. I am creating some beautiful coasters. Now here's the thing, sometimes I get stuck, guys. Sometimes I have so many options in front of me, it's kind of overwhelming, and this is where my patrons came through for me. I sent them photos and I was like, I really don't know what direction to go in. Do I go bright? Do I go autumnal? And I sent them all of the options. I sent them photos and it was unanimous. The decision came back totally unanimous that I should go with the winter blues and feathers in these coasters. So massive thank you to my patrons, because sometimes, yes, I get overwhelmed. I kind of sit there and I'm like, what's next? What am I doing? And if you missed the last video, go check it out. This was hands down the favorite out of the two that I created in the last video. So many of you said those blues are stunning. So actually I'm so happy my patrons decided on the blues, because I was with them as soon as they said it. Yes, I knew this was the right choice. So over to my Shadowfoam wall, I was looking for a blue that would complement this washi tape. I settled for ice blue mica powder by Arteza and some silver mica as well. I figured we could kind of do a bit of a mix up with Vista white liquid pigment, some silver foil, and then mixing together that ice blue mica in with the silver, just to see what we could create really, and to see how it would complement and work with the washi tape as well. So I mixed up my resin. This is Vista Turbo Resin. This is my go-to fast curing resin. This allows me to do 2 layers of resin within one day, which is super helpful. The mold I am using in this video is the round coaster mold by Molds and Shapes. Always check out the description box. I have so many codes now, I can't even think straight. I have your discount code for Molds and Shapes that is in the description box. Of course, your discount code for the washi tape shop is also in the description box, and information on the Vista resin is also down there, so definitely do check it out. Sometimes I put it in the title like I'm using washi tape from the washi tape shop, and then I'll mention it in my video that the washi tape is from the washi tape shop, and sometimes I'll get questions like, hi, where can I get this washi tape? So I do feel like sometimes I'm repeating myself a lot, and I'm so sorry for that. But believe it or not, I still get questions on things. So I do worry that I'm not making myself clear. So please let me know if you understand and if I am actually making things clear as to where I get them from. So back to the video. Yes, we're going with 3, a combination of 3. So we've got the blue and the silver mica in there mixed together. This honestly matches the washi tape so beautifully. We've got the white and then we've got the silver foil. So there was no real kind of rules here. I just knew that I wanted the white to be the dominant colour. I wanted to be able to have a large surface area over which to put my washi tapes, and then just some delicate detail. I say in the corners, but there's no corners. Just some delicate detail off to the side of that silver foil and the blue and silver mica mixed in together. So again, there was no real, you could pretty much put these wherever you wanted. You could put white straight in the center, put your foils around the outside. It's really down to you and your creative process and what you think would work for what it is you're going for. But this is what I did. Again, it's beautiful. Honestly, this combination is very wintry, but some places in the world do still have snow, even though we're in March, and in the UK we are experiencing some spring-like weather. I'm very aware that, it's still cold in places, so it's all right. We can still go with the winter-themed resin. But yes, this is what it looked like after, and I decided I didn't know. I was a bit wary as to how this resin would cure up, and I didn't want just block blobs of blue. So I did decide, and again, this is all up to you guys, because you never know what you're gonna get with resin. That's the beauty of resin. You never really know. It has a mind of its own. It does its own thing. I did decide to go in and just swirl it up, because why not? We can. This is our project. We can do what we want. Okay, next up, we are going to give it a liberal spray of alcohol. I think I gave about 3 squirts per coaster. This is just to get rid of any surface bubbles, and right now, as it stands, stunning. Oh my gosh, I actually caught it out of the corner of my eye. The relationship between that alcohol spray and the silver powder was beautiful. I love nothing more than seeing resin dance and seeing the way these actual additives interact with each other. It's really quite pretty. It's really quite pretty, but I thought I'd give you a close-up just so that you could appreciate it as well. But as it stands, I'm loving the color choices here. I'm loving the way all of these colors are merging together. They definitely look like stormy winter clouds. Okay, 5 hours later, my resin is cured, and I thought I'd go into a bit more depth, a bit more visual, and a bit more detail on how I cut out these washi tapes, because I'm very aware in my first video, I didn't really show that much of me cutting the washi tape out. It was my first time trying the washi tape, and I found it so fiddly until I didn't. It was fiddly for about an hour, and then I suddenly found a method, and this is me here showing you my method. So we are gently, very, very gently pressing down with a sharp blade on a cutting mat. We're just cutting through that top surface. Once we've done that, we're going to get our tweezers and just go in under that sticky tape to be able to peel it back. Straight away, it comes off of that backing tape, and it could not be any easier. But yes, it took me a while to get it. It took me about an hour to finally kind of work it out, the best method to get these images off the washi tape, and then it's just a case of placement. Really place them down wherever you are. If you want to kind of go ahead and do something like this, then work out if you want it in the center, off to the side, and really, again, creative license is all yours. We do what we want with our projects. I did decide to use my finger again on this. I felt like the washi tape really does need a really firm shove and rub. Is that the right? That's what we're calling it, guys. We're calling it the shove and the rub. We really shove our hands down on top of this and we rub it thoroughly, because I definitely noticed from my first attempt at this, I definitely got some areas where the washi tape wasn't fully in contact with the resin, and this is just a way of trying to reduce that from happening. Now, another couple of questions on whether I was nervous about cutting my mold. Of course I am. You know, I don't just go blindly into this. I am very aware that there is a risk of using a blade, but I will say this, once you've got that blade down in the resin, we are digging into the resin to cut the washi tape. Once the blade is in the resin and you go real slow, that blade is inside the resin. It's like the resin is holding the blade in place. So definitely just trust your instincts. Do what makes you happy as well. If you're not happy to do that, please don't risk your molds and do that. But it worked really well for me. It wasn't a slip and slide is basically what I'm trying to say. The blade wasn't slipping all over the place because I'd put it down into the resin. Hoping that makes sense. Okay, next up, we're cutting out some individual leaves here. Now, if you can see what I'm doing here, just using my blade to peel up that top bit of tape. This is going to allow me the room to use my tweezers to actually get underneath. If you don't do this, you can then lift your tape up and just kind of roll it back and forth until the edge of that sticky bit just peeks up and you can grab it with your tweezers. So that's another method. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. That's just another method, using your blade to just etch away at the side of your tape, creating almost like an area through which you can go with your tweezers. And again, I'm just going around the edge very slowly, very carefully with my blade to cut this out. Now here you see again, honestly, these colours give me life. If you are new to my channel, I am a blues girl. I am all for blues. there's so many more shades of blue than there is in any other colour. Now, I'm not a scientist, and I'm not a colourist. I'm just assuming this. I just feel like there are so many more blues than there are any other colour. At this point, I decided to just go ahead and start carving out all of the areas that I want, all of the things that I want. I'm just going to work my way along the tape. We're not peeling them up at this point. We're just getting them ready to be peeled. And again, this one here, oh my gosh, if you saw my last video, you'll know that this kind of real delicate, dainty fern, it just captured me. There's something about this, it's so whimsical and pretty. I love it. It's probably my favourite piece on this whole washi tape is that fern. So again, I'm just going around the whole washi tape, finding the things that I want to go into the next coaster. I'm getting them ready. I'm not peeling them at this point. I'm just getting them ready. I'm going around all of the outside gently with my blade. Doing again down here, you see, just getting a little area ready where I can get in with my tweezers. And this eucalyptus, I have to say, out of all of the designs on all of the washi tapes, eucalyptus comes up quite a lot, but it's in so many different forms and so many different fashions and almost watercolour in style. Just stunning. There's something about eucalyptus leaves that, I don't know, I guess they're calming, aren't they? They're very zen. And then it was time to start peeling them off, and I peel them off one by one. I peel slowly as well, just to make sure that I don't go ahead and rip the rest of the washi tape. This one here is gorgeous. It's almost like the teasels that I found last winter, and I was going to put in resin, but I wasn't brave enough to do that yet. Still haven't done it yet. And then we're going to cut out a big chunky section. Now, in the last video, a few of you did say I could just cut them to size first before putting them in the mould. And yes, you absolutely can do that. I found that a bit tricky to do with the coasters where I was adding a lot of detail in and layering up. Purely because it wasn't like straightforward. It wasn't like I could cut a straight circle around some of these objects and some of these shapes, because at the time I wasn't sure on placement and where I really wanted them. But absolutely, yes, you could do that. You could pre-cut them, and also you can cut them out, you know, straight from the tape and then try to separate the tape from the backing. That's the part I really struggled with. So this is the technique that I found works best, and yeah, take from that what you will. Again, take away from this video the areas that you like and the areas that you might not necessarily feel that you want to do yourself. That's absolutely fine. I'm just here showing you what I'm doing. This one here, honestly, guys, just the detail, the actual detail. Now, I was using my finger in areas, and then I went in with the cotton bud in some areas just to get real close to those edges. This one here was hands down my favorite. It just felt so delicate to me. It felt like going out on a really cold winter's day and seeing all of these almost like frostbitten plants that have just got a layer of frost over them. There's something special about this coaster here that gripped my heart. And of course, that feather right in the center. Get it in there, get it rubbed down. And I just felt absolute love for this coaster. It's so funny, you know, you can have a set of coasters. You could do the same thing in each coaster if you wanted to. You know, you could go onto your washi tape, roll it out until you got a repeat pattern, and repeat and try to get exactly the same in every single coaster. But for me this time, there was no fun in that. I really wanted to explore this washi tape and see how it would kind of work against the colours that I've already created down. But here you go again. You see how I've got the blade in the resin. I'm digging it in the resin. The resin's 5 hours post curing, so it's not solid, it's just enough to be able to lay down on top. It works a dream, honestly. There's no slipping, but again, go slowly and only do this if you're happy to. I love this. At this point, this reminds me of like an oil painting on a wall in a pub. That's what this reminds me of. The last two, of course, I don't want to spend all of that time going through every single little individual thing that I'm going to do on the next two coasters, because I don't think anyone wants to sit through that for whole 4 coasters. So I'm just giving you an outline here. I'm chopping out the big section. So the next few coasters, the next 2 coasters, I'm doing a big chunky piece on one of them, And that's pretty much it. I'm not doing any more. This is going to be more of a simple coaster, more simplistic than the other two. And then the final coaster, a wreath straight in the center. Then I took my time. This was time consuming. Guys, I can't even lie. I put the ready-made wreath that is already on the washi tape. We saw this in the last video. Stunning wreaths. And I just went around and cut out individual little details that I found on the wreath. All of these beautiful little leaves, all these tiny delicate little areas on the washi tape, and I went around and individually cut every single one out to stick it around the wreath as if it's kind of sprouting out, spraying out from that wreath, and I just thought it was beautiful. As soon as I'd done that, it was time for a top coat, and this is the next day, and I already knew which one was my favourite. It stood out to me like it just stood out a million miles, but they are all beautiful in their own way. I'm so happy I went with that combination of the silver and the blue mica and the silver foil. It all added into it just to make it so pretty and impactful. And wait, I'm gonna have to go and refer to a thesaurus. Okay, I am back from thesaurus. This one here, I absolutely love it. I love the combination of the silvers and the blues. I was going to use the word stunning. Thesaurus actually says I could use the words impressive and gorgeous instead, so we'll go with that. What you could do here if you wanted to was go around the outline with your silver pen. This was mentioned in the last video as well, and it did cross my mind. I just didn't want to do it. I just feel like these are so crisp on their own, and I feel like the silver, I don't know, might take over, might dominate and take away from the tranquil kind of delicate beauty of them. But again, you do what you wish with the project that you're working on. I'm showing you here in the light, I'm showing you a kind of a close-up of how I didn't press this washi tape down properly. I was using the cotton bud for the feather, and again, you really need to get in there and rub it with your fingers, because I feel like that gives a much better result. Afterwards, in certain lights, you can see where the tape is not in full contact with the resin. So definitely still learning on this one. Push it down as much as you can and get it fully adhered. I love this one. I absolutely love how delicate this looks. But this one, oh my gosh, I cannot cope with how much I love this one. Now, when I say I cannot cope, I know people use phrases around the world. When I say I cannot cope with something, it really means I can't. It's just a figure of speech. I can cope and I will cope. But just in case, you know, anyone's confused as to what that means, it's just a figure of speech. But I just love it. I absolutely love this one. To me, this one is breathtaking. All of the different elements, the layering, those ferns that are my favourites, and with the feather in the centre, those teasels, it's just, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's definitely my favourite one out of the four. This one here was quite simplistic. I used a cluster, but then I used this tree bit, and I'm not sure I should have put that in. But I've done it now, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's still pretty in its own way, and I love elements where there are clear resin and silver foil coming through as well. I really think that this washi tape against a white background is the most impactful. I think it's the most impactful. It's definitely giving off the strongest contrast. I think if you chose any other colour to go as a background to this particular washi tape, you wouldn't get quite a striking contrast between the two. I just don't know what else to say. I'm not going to refer to the thesaurus because it was pretty rubbish, guys. Obsessed. That is all. Okay, I'm sorry. It has to be said. I utterly adore the results of these. I adore the washi tape. The blue is definitely a wow. I am a blue girl anyway, I've said it. I'm all for the blues. You guys all agreed in the last video that you preferred the blues over the pinks. That maybe wasn't 100%, but like 90% of you preferred the blues over the pinks. I am so glad my patrons asked me to do this one next and said this is definitely the next one. I just love them. I think that wreath is coming in at a close second. It is spectacular. The way you can layer these up and just add little bits on. You can grab big chunky sections of this washi tape and go for a full wow, or you can just cut out tiny little delicate elements from the washi tape and add them in on the sides, add them around the wreath. Just add to your designs, and I love that because of the freedom. You guys know I love freedom and I don't love rules. So whenever you see anything in my video, just know it was intentional, and I'll pretty much do what I feel like I want to do at the time, because I try not to put too much pressure on myself. So if you feel that you wouldn't have done it this way, that I should have done it another way, just remember that you have full creative control over whatever it is that you decide to do. So take from this what you will. Take away the areas that you feel that you might try. Areas that you think is not really you, that you won't try. That is the beauty of creating videos. That is the beauty of creating videos in the way that you want to and sharing with the world. So yeah, I'm getting deep again. I hope you have loved these as much as I loved creating them. Once you get the hang of this tape, guys, I have to say there's a bit of a warning, disclaimer, obsession may ensue, okay? There is a tendency for me to find something new and run with it for a few videos, and I'm definitely doing that with this washi tape because this is easily addictive. And washi tape has been used in mixed media and card making and journaling for years and years. I can imagine this being the next big explosion in resin, as you know, Nadia from Lia Dia Designs already has done, but there's so much potential here. I'm going to stop talking because I feel like, yeah, we're 22 minutes in. That's enough for any human. I will see you all in the next video, which will be washi tape, but completely different to this. Completely different aesthetic, different colour scheme. We're going dark. We're going dark and moody, and I hope you love it. I'll see you then. Bye.